This channel and the content on it was created for adults only 18 plus. We don't promote or condone any illegal activity or the use of any illegal substance. This was created for informational and educational purpose only.
Smoking in the morning, smoking in the evening, smoking when I want to, smoking at the beach. Now I'm from California, we grow it every season. Our plants we need to feed, and we grow it for a reason, because we love our homegrown. We grow our pie, we're in our garden, tending to our crops. We love our homegrown. We love our vibe. We're in our garden, smoking all our grass. Boom, burn another zone. Get so high that we have to grow more. Boom, burn another zone. Get so high that we have to grow more.
With some stash blend, feed my kids.
Hey, Mama.
Oh,
Be fucking nice.
Happy Wednesday!
Happy Wednesday.
How is everybody tonight?
I'm doing good.
Doing pretty good. Yeah.
Glad it's hump day.
Yeah, we're halfway
An
through the
exciting
week.
night.
So exciting.
Yes. Do we want to dive right into it, or do we have anything we want to mention beforehand, or?
Just a reminder that we have Grow Me Gardens at 9 p.m. Eastern on Fridays at the same place here. And I think that's pretty much it, unless you guys have something.
Same bat place, same bat channel.
That's right.
Wow.
That's right. Wow, you're
HGTC stores as well, which could be found on our link on Instagram under HGTC, the community, or any of our profiles. And
I am gonna get a link tree set up for that, so then it's just everything is in one link.
Yeah, it's easier that way. But yeah, it'll take time. It'll take time. Yeah. Well, let's get right into it then, guys. Let's go ahead and welcome Marco from GrowersHouse, Cana Cribs. Welcome.
Yes,
let's go.
Hey, what's up, guys?
Hello.
Hey, happy Wednesday, sir. How are you?
Good, very good. Thank you. Yeah, good. Feeling good. How are you all doing tonight?
Fabulous.
Good.
Thanks.
Thank you so much for joining us this evening.
Thank you for having me. This is an honor. I rarely I'm on this side of the camera, so I am both nervous and excited, and would love to kind of learn more about you all and what you're doing on this channel, and looking forward to it. I love my Canadian friends up in the north there. So
yeah, we got the great white north up here.
Yeah.
It's not so white anymore, though. We're coming into spring.
The snow is melting. Yeah.
Well, Marco, please give yourself a quick little introduction on who you are, who you represent, and then we'll get into it from there.
Sure. Yeah. I'm currently full-time at GrowersHouse Holdings, which is kind of a little bit of a complex story. So GrowersHouse Holdings owns Cana Cribs, Ventana Plant Science, which is that nutrient line, and a couple of other new products that we have coming out. Trellis netting, or no, Common Culture. They own Common Culture as well. It's all kind of under the GrowersHouse umbrella. I was brought into this crew about 2 years ago by one of the creators of Cannacribs, Nick Morin, back in 2022, roughly, when I left Green Bros. I was the marketing director over there. Nick and I had met each other through mutual friends at trade shows back in, gosh, I think early 2017-ish, back when the cannabis industry in North America and California specifically was just at the very beginning of this huge boom that we had for a couple of years. Met Nick, got to know Nate through that kind of connection at Green Bros. And then when my time at Green Bros ended, Nick invited me to start directing some episodes kind of on a trial basis. And of course, my background being, production from LA, I brought a lot of those skills into their current sort of structure that they had, making it just a little more efficient to produce the episodes, and obviously more profitable for the company on the other end. And they decided to keep me around for a while. And then Nick left last year. I kind of weaved my way into a kind of I guess a hybrid position where I'm kind of doing marketing for GrowersHouse, doing marketing for Cana Cribs, Ventana Plant Science, Common Culture, the technical crop advisors for the consultants team. We do webinars. In fact, we have a webinar tomorrow morning that I'm hosting with Mike Chang. We've got the B2B portal side of GrowersHouse, which is a new platform that we're launching that is basically like an Amazon for digital retail for cannabis cultivation equipment. It's geared towards commercial, but I believe there's even a home grower portal, or there's a way for home growers to also gain access to some discounts and deals. So I do a lot. My plate is full, and I just had
sounds busy.
a baby. Yeah, so we're on top of that. We're juggling not a lot of sleep, and this is the time where we start kind of winding down. So I'm going to be slowly fading towards the end. I apologize.
That's okay.
No, that's okay.
I've put a few people to bed.
Yeah, I love the YouTube channels. I love that you guys are doing this. It's exciting. I think one of the claim to fames for me lately is the Cannacribs series that's taking off right now. And we don't do enough episodes a year, but it's very, very time consuming and expensive to produce these things on location. And then of course there's risk involved, taking a crew across the country. We just did a great tour last year in Missouri, so you'll see some episodes up there from that region. And we're heading to Maryland at the end of May for about a week and a half, and shooting some big cultivations out there.
Nice.
Oh, beautiful,
cool.
Beautiful. Now,
that'll be
how
really
friendly
cool.
is it in Maryland? Is it like like recreational, or are we just?
I believe it's recreational now. Yeah, I think. Again, this is the baby brain talking. I don't exactly know what the laws are. I know DC in Washington DC is rec as well, and I know Maryland is right across the water there from it. And
okay.
So yeah, it's a pretty big market from what I understand. I remember in 2018, SunMed was coming in. That's one of the farms we're filming, and so they've been around there since 2018, I think, in the medical market. And as you know, most markets in cannabis start with medical and then eventually get to recreational. So I'm not exactly sure when they flipped, but they're definitely fully recreational as far as I know. Yeah.
Nice.
A lot of money being exchanged out there.
Nice. And you guys also have you guys have other content creators on the Cannacribs YouTube page that also do like video series as well.
Yeah, we've worked with you guys know Dusa, I'm sure, Dusa Farms, Javar.
Yes.
Sir.
We did a grow series last year with him. He's amazing, super talented, kind of one of like you guys, this young, inspiring, let's shoot it myself, shoot, as you guys know, shooting, editing, and growing. I mean, that is not easy to do. And he was producing some stuff for us, you know, every other week. He was cranking out.
Yeah.
That was sort of during a time when we were transitioning away from just, you know, managing. Unfortunately, we did have to downsize quite a bit on our production side. So he was our last kind of home grow series that we had on our channel. But right now we're just focusing on, like I said, the flagship Cannacribs episodes. And hopefully when we have a little more bandwidth, we can bring back some more home growers, because there's still so much knowledge that is passed to fellow growers through those videos. It's amazing.
For sure.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's amazing. On Friday nights, we do a Grow Me Gardens where Growies get to show off their gardens. So they show up on Friday and we get to peek into the tent and stuff. And we learn something new every Friday. Every single Friday, we learn something new.
Well,
we always have like a moment.
2 Fridays ago, we actually had Dusa came on and hung out for the first half hour, 45 minutes with us. So that's actually kind of cool.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. He used to be part of our crew back in the way back in the day.
Yeah. Well, actually, yeah, when Home Grow the Communities first started, Dusa Farms was actually part of it. Him and I joined at the same time, and we kind of learned this live thing together. And so it's really cool to see where he's gotten. And when I was doing a little bit of research on you guys, I was like, oh shit, look at that. Deuce is on their page. That's really cool. But
yeah, we were blessed to have him. Like, he's a great guy, super talented, smart, and and gifted as well. For growing. I mean, that flower he's growing is amazing. And I don't know if it's on his main channel, but I know that he also has some psychedelic mushroom experiments.
Oh yes.
Yeah, I think that page actually got taken down.
Oh, did it? Oh,
yeah, he had a couple pages recently get taken down, and I think he said the mushrooms was one of them.
Pushed it too far. Pushed it too far. Yeah,
a little too far ahead of the curve, I guess. Yeah.
Back it off just a little. So Marco, tell us. Go ahead, Bunny. Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, for those who don't know, can you tell us a bit more about Cannacribs and what it is and what the show is about?
Yep. So, you know, it was originally created back in, I think I said 2016 was the first episode that Nate and Nick filmed out in Glasshouse Farms here in Camarillo, California. Glasshouse is, they had a friend named Graham that owned this huge facility. He's now expanded to, like, I think it's almost 2 miles of glass greenhouse now. It square miles. It's insane. So they started the show with the intention of really just educating, you know, the industry, kind of like what we were talking about backstage. You know, just not just about growing, but also showing like the cultural side of our industry, the people, like the fact that we are farmers, we are cultivators, we're creators, we were making something, you know, from the ground, from the earth, and we're sharing it with the world. It kind of slowly morphed into this interesting business sort of, I guess, what am I looking for? Basically, like GrowersHouse at the same time that Cannacribs was conceived, it started also blowing up and selling a lot of products. And then Nate and Nick figured out a way to kind of integrate both of those two businesses. So, you know, in the episode, if you look under the description, you'll obviously see, like every other YouTube channel out there, any of the products that we're talking about in the episode are featured there. You can click on those links and then get discounts from the GrowersHouse website if you use those links, kind of like affiliate codes and stuff like that. So that as that kind of kept growing, they realized that they could, you know, actually start putting more money into the episodes, hiring more crew. I think at one point when I met them and I was sponsoring the episodes when I was with Green Bros, I think there was like 12 people on a crew, which is, you know, kind of large for a relatively small docu crew. You know, you have your camera ops, your ADs, your producers, directors, and then of course Nate. And so that's pretty expensive to travel around the country doing that. So, but again, it was in under the guise of really just educating the audience about cultivation, getting to know the industry, watching it as it's growing with every state. Like, I mean, it's incredible how fast it's growing and how big it is. And here in California, where we can grow outdoors, for a pretty significant amount of time up in the Humboldt region, there's just thousands of acres of weed growing up there, and seeing that
so cool.
managed. Yeah, to me, the most amazing part is, and I know I'm almost 50 now, and is watching these 20-something-year-old kids manage these multi-million-dollar businesses and just crushing it, like just so focused and like passionate about the plant and just what they're doing. And I just love those stories, and that's sort of what motivates me when I'm on set, behind the camera filming, is really just sort of lifting the craft and lifting the art form of cultivation and storytelling, really.
Yeah.
So
nice. Have you ever had any bad feedback? Like when you reach out to somebody and say, hey, do you mind if I bring my whole team down to film your grow? Like, have you ever had anybody go, you know what? I really don't want to be on camera for that. Like,
not lately. Earlier, before I was officially like in the cannabis industry, I was growing on a couple medical farms in Lake County up in Northern California, up in in Kelseyville kind of area. Back then, that was in 2010. It was still pretty sketch. Yeah, you would have to for sure ask permission. You don't want to be sneaking a camera in. You'd get and for that's the murder. Yeah, that's the Murder Mountain vibe we were talking about a minute ago.
Yeah.
Not that anybody was really doing all that much shady stuff, but you could obviously go to jail if somebody could corroborate you on camera on a farm. And this was back when there were still camp had a huge presence here in California. I don't remember what it stands for, but it's some sort of federal organization where they used to have helicopters, just circling your grow. So you'd have these big green crosses on the ground, saying medical, for medical use only. And you'd have to have everybody that was on the farm had to have a script so that they could, if you were to get raided, you'd show the paperwork. Anyways, we filmed this silly little mini documentary back in the day on that farm when I was just, I think, gosh, it was almost 15 years ago. And then I started kind of getting really into sort of the farming aspect of it. And then kind of the storytelling was just there. So I started trying to document some stuff. And this was like back when Vice was still kind of getting into things too. And I really wanted to start doing stuff for Vice. And then I actually was doing a road trip across the country, trying to film basically how to commute with cannabis, let's just call it, from California to Maine. And I got pulled over and it didn't end well for me. So that was sort of this pause where I was like, okay, I need to kind of step away from this and kind of reset some things in my life. So I took a break from, kind of just being involved in the cannabis space for a while and got back into LA. But yeah, I mean, there's, it's still very real. You can go to jail in this country for holding a plant, carrying a plant in your possession. So yeah, it's a real fear for a lot of people still, which is crazy.
Yeah.
It's so frustrating because the plant itself does more than the product afterwards. I feel, growing the plant, taking care of the plant, watching something grow and then taking it to harvest. Like, it really does something to you on the inside. It changes your biochemistry, having your hands in the soil and stuff like that. So it infuriates me. It's so good, but yet still so hated. It's so frustrating. Now, how do you grow yourself, or are you just a documentarian?
No, I do. I grow outdoor though. I unfortunately don't have the bandwidth to really, nurture and take care of indoor gardening. I have actually an avocado farm here in North County, San Diego. It's about 2 acres. My wife and I bought this kind of, I guess you can call it a rundown fixer-upper of an avocado farm back in the end of the pandemic in 2021-ish. And so there's a nice plot of land that I've been cultivating. It's only about I don't know, 50 by 50 yards roughly. And it's a good size chunk of land there. But, you know, I just popped some seeds. I've been experimenting with some of my own kind of genetics.
Nice.
And I'll throw like maybe, well, definitely, I think legally I can have 6 per adult in the ground. So I'll pop 12. And then of course, you know, half of them usually are males. So we end up usually with 6. And this year I'm really hoping, you know, with the help of GrowersHouse and you know, Renee and Nate, the guys out in Phoenix, they've got all the stuff you need, not to plug, you know, too hard. But
no, absolutely plug.
Do.
Yeah.
Tonight's your night.
Tonight's your night. Plug away.
Yes.
Yeah. So check out growershouse.com, obviously. But I you know, have a couple of years ago, I had the fortune of going up to Murder Mountain area up to with my friend Lance Lambert, who's now with Grove Bags. He was with Bovit at the time, and we did a tour of a couple farms up there, and just seeing the freaking trees, the monsters they had that J hook technique where they, you know, they pull. I mean, it's old school like cannabis gardening.
No. Tell us. I want to hear this. What is this?
I don't know the exact term or how it's done, but essentially there's a point in the plant's life when it's growing where you can basically, I guess they call it crop training or
like crop steering.
Steering,
crop
right?
steering. Okay, yeah.
Right, and they kind of train the bottom like leaves to sort of fold down into these big J hooks. So the bottom of the tree is like, by the time it gets to like, gosh, these things were like 15 feet tall, like literally trees, like cannabis trees, which you guys have seen, I'm sure, on Instagram.
Oh, yeah.
And, you know, the stalks are like this thick and it's huge J hooks and they're perfectly in line and they're just so beautifully manicured. And anyways, I'm hoping to do that this year. So if I do get some nice results, I'll send you guys some pictures and do an update.
Definitely.
Yes,
well, and you're always welcome to pop on
That's
a Friday night if you want to show your garden. And
oh yeah, I'd love
absolutely.
to. Yeah.
Awesome.
That's great. Yeah.
I love seeing the outdoor plants when we're doing the Friday night show. Like, of course, over the winter and fall and early spring and everything, it's all indoor stuff. But then I started with outdoor. So the whole outdoor thing to me is super interesting. Everything about it, just how big they get. The amount of work that's involved is just unbelievable, though.
Yeah, and I'm because of where I am in the region of Fallbrook is basically this part of it's considered the avocado capital of the world. It's sort of the claim to fame here. So we've got 85 trees that are producing right now, and the soil is rich and dense and really healthy. But where I am, like Oceanside, California, is about 10 miles east or west of us. So this really nice layer of fog kind of comes in during the spring and summer and keeps it cool at night. And then in the day, it's like blasting with sun. So it's this like perfect combination of weather that, you know, in a good year, so long as it doesn't freeze too much in the winter or get too hot in the summer, you can grow anything in this region. There's a lot of farms in this area. And yeah, it's pretty unique environment. So fingers crossed, I'll get some big crops this year.
Nice. Had you grown avocados before getting an avocado farm, or was that like your dive?
It was the market. 2021 was right as the pandemic was lifting, so they were allowing people to tour houses again. And I don't know if you guys have, you know, ever been a part of the market where it's like a frenzy. But so my wife is super smart. She went ahead and looked on the MLS to see what was coming up, like, because anything that was on the market was taken. Or if you had, you know, there's a lot of LLCs here in Southern California, and I'm sure everywhere in the world, that come in with cash and they just drop money and then flip the house. And we didn't have that option. So when we put our offer for 50,000 over asking with no contingencies, you know, we were like, we just want this house. We didn't even like pay attention to the fact that there was 2 acres of trees. Like literally we were so focused on just getting a house. And then we moved in and we were like, oh, what do we do with these trees? Like they're beautiful, but they're old and they were neglected. Because, you know, the former owner was, they were seniors and they just didn't have the money or time to keep up with it, which is a lot of money. Like, you know, anyways, we we kind of modernized the irrigation system. We put it on a Bluetooth wireless control with our phone, which is amazing. All that stuff is available nowadays out there.
Yeah.
And then on that tour in NorCal, I ran into these folks. I wish I could remember names. That's my bad. But they have this. They brought down this type of farming called hugel culture. Have you guys ever heard of hugel culture?
No, I
I've
don't
heard
think
of
so.
it, but I'm not sure what it is.
Yeah, I don't know how to spell it, but it's I think it's Dutch, or it's probably Dutch or something in that region.
Sounds like it might be Dutch. Yeah.
Yeah, they bury logs underground, and the natural decomposition of the logs create all the healthy microbial like nutrients that plant thrives on. So I learned that from this farm up in Northern California, and I brought that technique to my avocado farm, and then added a bunch of soil, organic soil. I basically just used my knowledge of cannabis growing and basically rehab this old farm. And in about 2 years, it took about 2 years to start seeing fruit. Now we just harvested 3,000 pounds last week, which is it's a relatively small amount. We're hoping to triple that next year just based on the flowers and the yield right now. But that's avocado farming, and it's not weed farming, but it's still farming, and it's super fun.
That's okay.
Exactly.
You cross.
I love it.
And also something for folks that haven't heard of mycorrhiza, I think is what it's called. It might be relatively common to a lot of your viewers here, but when I discovered that as well, like how that works into the soil and really helps communicate all of the nutrients and silica. I've been learning about silica from Mike from Ventana Plant Science. We've got a commercial silica that we use. Like all that stuff really helps. And our neighbors who've been farming, for years out here, they come and they see the tree, and it's like really beautiful. Like it's holding the water because of the hugel culture. It's keeping the water. We're not using. We cut our water by a third. Like we don't need to water as much. So there's farming techniques that are old as the time that we can still apply today. But you can, if you integrate modern technology with that, it's amazing what you can produce. So
well, I mean, that stuff's been around forever because it works, right?
Yeah,
it comes down to the old model: if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Exactly.
I actually was just watching a YouTube video, and sometimes YouTube just goes on a rant and tells me what I'm going to watch. And it was like this apple orchard, and this gentleman took wood chips, and he covered his whole orchard in wood chips. And he's never had to water. He's never had a drought. He's in California, and a lot of droughts and that sort of thing. And his trees were so heavy, they were actually like growing this way as opposed to up, because the fruit was so heavy that it was actually weighing the branches down. So he's like, oh, it was great for me because I could just walk around and pick all the apples off this way from the apple orchard, right? So he noticed that wood chips really help. So that might be something to look into as well. I was,
because I think with the wood chips, I think that would create like that mycelium layer. You would get that moisture in there. And then with the mycorrhizae in there, all the different bacterias and fungal, you'd have all the bacterial and fungal life going on down there. So, I mean, it would just be its own little ecosystem inside the wood chips.
Yep.
So,
there you go. It's, if you didn't know about that, well, now you do.
Yeah.
This is what
basically
happens
just
when YouTube goes
creating like a forest floor at that point. Right, because that's basically what happens. Sticks and leaves and everything fall in the forest, and then moisture and all the different things come out of the soil, and it's it's interesting when you dive into the organic world.
Yeah, it is. It's neat because it doesn't. You don't have an immediate response. It's one of these things where as you get older in life, you learn that taking time to do it right and allowing it to grow and nurture this beautiful plant, whatever it is, we committed to 3 years. So we knew that when we did what's called stumping, where we chopped the tops of all the trees off, it was going to take 3 years to start seeing produce from that. And, that's a pretty major investment we did not we weren't into avocado farming when we moved up here, but we've learned a lot, and we're finally, like I said, getting some crop finally back, and we're going to hopefully break even next year, and then maybe see some profits in 3 years if we're lucky enough. Yeah, but
Nice.
this show's about growing weeds, so let's talk about growing weeds.
Okay.
I know you guys know the Saxland guys, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yes.
We do.
Pigeons and Rob.
We've had them actually, all of them on.
Individually. Our goal is to get them all on here at the same time now. That's the next step.
You guys are great. Are you part of the Growers Gauntlet? Are you guys growing anything or?
I'm not personally, because I just didn't have the room for it, but I wish.
Yeah.
Yeah, I joined, and I had a little trouble getting started, but that's okay. I'll just be a little bit behind, but I'm in it. I'm in it to win it. Team Pigeons, by the way, Team Pigeons.
I love that guy. He's such a character. He's so funny.
Right?
Yeah.
Oh, he totally is. Yeah.
Nate,
yeah, they're all super cool.
Yeah, Nate Lipton, the host of our show, discovered those guys last year somehow. I think maybe through Corey, our former social media manager, and they've got a lot of really creative content. Yeah. They're, again, like Dusa, just so young and talented and gifted. It's just a new generation of content creators that I'm envious of, for sure, because like I said, I was like classical training. I went to Hollywood. Blood, sweat, and tears. Like, I worked for some of the most talented, amazing producers and directors out there, but it was hard. I got burned out. I had to leave, and it took 12 years for me to realize it. And a couple of addictions to various substances, but now I'm grateful for it. But now look at us, we're at home and we're on TV. Technically,
right?
Right?
Yeah.
Whole new world.
Bunny tells her kids, "Okay, quiet, kids. Mommy's going to be on TV tonight."
Go to bed easy. No arguing tonight, okay?
Well, it's funny because a lot of people now watch YouTube on TV, right? Like,
that's all I watch.
Smart TVs. So now, when we're doing our show, sometimes we'll bring people on and they'll be like, "Hey, check this out," and they'll turn their camera around and we'll be on TV. So
we're on TV.
That's funny. Cool. That's crazy. What did you guys do for 420 last weekend?
420 is my son's birthday, so I did a 12-year-old's birthday party, and then after that I came home, and then there was like Cannabis live after live after live. So like AC Infinity, not AC Infinity, but like High Again and Basement Grow Show and Home Grow TV, they all had a big live. I Can THC had a live. Like everybody was live that day. So
nice.
Kind of hung out at home.
Nice.
Well, my goal was to go to Vancouver and to do 420 in Vancouver. And then I personally was going to go live. I was going to be like, "Hey guys, I'm at 420 in Vancouver, sitting on the hill, like above the smoke or something," right? Which first we weren't able to go down, which was fine. Just the plans didn't work out that we wanted to. Totally fine. Well, then I found out that the police actually shut it down completely. Everybody started converging. They're like, "Nope," ticketing everybody. They gated off the Sunset Beach where they had it. And so they were like, "Okay, well, let's move it to Robson Square." So they moved it over there. Cops followed them, broke it up over there. So, and it's, it's like, come on, guys. Like, and they were trying to say it's still not a protest because it's federally legal. And it's like, well, yeah, it is still a protest because it's not federally legal everywhere. So back and forth. We don't have to go down down that road, but it was, I'm glad I didn't waste the money to drive down and get a hotel and all of that for it to be shut down. So it was good. It was good.
Nice.
Bunny, did you do anything special for 420?
No, just the usual kiddos and usual day, really. Nothing special.
Yeah.
Now, Marco, do you partake?
Yes, occasionally I do. Since my little baby Kobe was born 10 weeks ago now, I've slowed down a little because, as soon as it became very much like a sleep aid for me over the years. So as soon as I hit it, like my brain just shuts off and I want to go to sleep. So I've been kind of abstaining a little from it since he was born, but definitely, yeah, like I was really
Save it up. He's going to hit 2, so just save it up. You'll be fine.
Yeah.
You're going to need it when he hits 2.
Yeah, I started getting into topicals and making topicals a couple years ago. So I still do that. It's sort of just it's a I guess a passion project of mine for folks that are specifically dealing with neuropathy from chemo treatments. So I just do it for free. I make it for folks that are that are in pain. I also sell it to a friend of mine has she's a cosmologist, I think, and she uses it for just treatments at her studio. So I sell it to her. I have a website online. I haven't really been selling too much of it lately, but that's really the majority of what I grow goes into that, into the bombs, which is fun.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Nice. Do you want to mention the website? You can go. You can go ahead.
Yeah, it's mbotanics.com. So M and just botanics.com. And yeah, you could order straight from my website there. And it's got THC in it. It's pretty strong. My wife, when we were kind of going through the experimental phases a couple of years ago, she got pretty high on accident, just kind of, it feels good. It's MCT oil, it's, coconut oil, shea butter, all organic products. So there you go. And, very, very, smells like a lavender, obviously, natural scents I put in there. And I learned a lot about, just carrier oils and kind of the way, the endo-cannabinoid system works. I was fascinated by that. The fact that we have an endo-cannabinoid system in our body to me is amazing. Just when I remember hearing the word endo-cannabinoid and I was like, is that made up? Like, is that a real thing? Like, it's in our body and we're already we're connected to this plant in so many ways already. Like,
the receptors are there and the government just tried stopping it.
Yeah. There's a couple of videos on there too. You can, learn a little bit about the difference between hemp and THC. And for a while I was just, I want to know the difference between a hemp CBD plant and now I'm using a extraction system. A friend of mine I borrowed from my old Green Bros days. He owns an Alchemist, and the Alchemist is like a dry sifter. For those of you guys that don't know, I've never seen one. You use dry ice and you put your trim in there. Really, you don't need, most people you can extract so much from just the trim alone. And then I take that all those trichome heads and then I run them through the what's it called, the magic butter machine and infuse
I love my magic butter machine. I love it.
Yeah, we got sponsored a couple years ago, so I have 2 of them and
nice.
Crank through it. Yeah. And then you infuse the oil there. Actually, I think you and I don't know, I believe it also decarboxylates in that process because it's like 2.5 hours at 160. So the actual THC is kind of popping and then infusing into the oil. And so what I did this last batch was kind of an experiment, was putting just the trichomes into the mix. And when you put it on, it literally numbs you. Like your hand gets high, like whatever you put it on, like just completely numbs. And it's really powerful and amazing. So, like I said, it's really just a not-for-profit thing I do for friends that are, that are needing it. That's sort of a little passion project of mine on the side. And I'll probably be experimenting a little more with some genetics of from some friends that gave me some seeds last year that I grew, and I let a male, populate the garden, and it wasn't for very long, and it was only one of them, but as like lesson learned, one tiny male, it just every single plant was covered with seeds. So like I said, I'm not selling the weed, so it doesn't matter for me, but I definitely will not be doing that again. I have enough seeds for the rest of my life, and then like 1,000 seeds. which is,
It's so amazing how fast that happens too. It's just like you blink and it's like, oh,
yeah, powder starts floating around.
Yeah. And I'm sure all your neighbors were pretty thrilled with you.
No, we were pretty far away from each other out here, which is really nice.
Oh,
so,
good.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That's good.
Yeah, I know that pollen can go a long way.
Oh, yeah.
That's true. Right? I don't know what my neighbors are growing. Yeah, there was rumors of some folks growing over there. So the Santa Ana winds, yeah, you never know. Wow, I didn't even think of that.
I think they said it can travel up to like 5 miles or something like that. So I mean,
you start the story first in your neighborhood. You know, you can just say, "Hey, you know, there's somebody's growing boys in this neighborhood. I wish I knew who it was. I'd give them a girl." You know, so you start the rumor first. So then, if they do grow a boy, then they'll be like, "Oh, it was us." You blame them.
Yeah, make somebody else own up to it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
totally.
that's right.
Hopefully they don't see this video or this recording.
Hopefully not. No.
It's just between us. Don't worry. It's just between us.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, just tease it. So are you an indica guy or are you a sativa guy? You like your indica?
Yeah, definitely indica. If I get too crazy on the sativas, I start getting way too introspective and questioning things, and I just don't like that space. We've all been there. It's you know, I'm sure it's good psychologically to tap into that every now and then just to check in. But if I can avoid it, I do. What Nate turned me on to microdosing psilocybin a couple of years ago, and that's been kind of my go-to. I wouldn't say daily, but definitely weekly. You know, that's been definitely helped me get through a lot of anxiety and depression, and you know that's a proven. It's crazy how that, like, cannabis for me never really, it wasn't as it was probably doing something for me as well, but not as profound as psilocybin has, like where you're conscious of the fact that there's something different, you know, that you're feeling different, and that I definitely don't know if it was the years in LA or what, but I definitely became a little, not comfortable around a lot of crowds for some reason. And weed would definitely help with that. Unless I smoke the sativa, then I'd get even more paranoid. But now with microdosing, like I said, I'm going to do this webinar tomorrow. Like, you just get locked in the zone, and it doesn't matter. I'm looking people in the eye. I'm totally comfortable in crowds, and it's just a whole different experience. So,
takes that one pressure off of you, which is lovely. Because sometimes that can hold you back. And I mean, you're such a creative guy. And I mean, just your storytelling is amazing. And to have that little bit of anxiety holding you back, it'd be a shame, because that could be an opportunity that could spark something in you. Be like, oh, and look at something a little bit different, Totally. So it's nice. Yeah. It's nice that you've found something that works for you, and is working for you, and can continue.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, your receptors are open, and when you're on set with a bunch of really creative people, it's just amazing how it all kind of starts coming together, and it's like magic. So, I'm excited about.
That's something I've definitely wanted to dabble in, is the microdosing. I just remember as a teenager using mushrooms back in the day, definitely for different reasons. And in my mind, I look back and I'm like, I don't want that again. I don't want to feel like that again. There
was no such thing as microdosing back in the day.
Exactly. So every time I think about it, every time I think about doing it, I'm like, I get nervous. I'm like, oh, do I really want to jump into this? But I think I do. But everybody that's talked about it is just so passionate about it, and like the information that they've told about how basically what you just said, like anxiety, depression, it just kind of takes the edge off of life without having to be like intoxicated. You know what I mean? So I like
have a clear mind. So. Yeah.
From what I hear,
I melt every time I try it. I melt. So
It's
I
definitely
tried microdosing and it didn't work so well. And I just, all of a sudden, my whole body just like went in from like the top of my head to my feet, just in a sweat. I was like, okay, I'm melting. And he's like, how was your ride? My response was, I'm melting. He's like, oh, he's thinking I'm having a good ride. I'm like, no, I'm literally this. I don't know what's going on. So I know it's not for me, which is fine. I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But again, just like cannabis, there's so many ways to do it nowadays. Like you don't even have to eat the mushrooms anymore. You can take a capsule. There's gummies now. There's chocolates. There's possibilities are endless. So
yeah, I make my own chocolates here at home as well. And like the amount that I take, Mama, is like it's just so small. I don't even know what it would be. It's such a micro amount. Like, you know, all it is like you just feel something kick in, but you're not going into that dark place because you can easily, you know, I've been on a couple of bad trips myself, and
that's my biggest fear too. That's why I'm a little too chicken to dabble.
Yeah,
it's very real. Yeah, you definitely got to like ease your way into it for sure.
Yeah,
like everything.
So with the microdosing, I know they say it's good to once a month or once every few months or something like that, go on that like full on trip. Do you ever do that, or do you just stick to the microdosing?
Not anymore. Not intentionally. I on Sunday, God, I was so stupid. I also play like competitive tennis. It's just like what I do to stay healthy. And I'm in this league, and I don't know what I was thinking, but you know, like literally, like this is my vape cart here, like the size of this head right here. I usually only eat like a quarter of the size of this, and that's all I need. And for some reason, I took the whole chocolate. I was like, I'm gonna do this because I was a little nervous about the match, and I was playing #1 singles, and dude, I got to the court, and all of a sudden the blues were a little too blue, and I was like,
oh no!
Like I just went past the threshold, like I went a little too far, and then when, you know, like it's a fine line. Like if you get to that point when you're right on the edge, and it's almost like this adrenaline, and you can feel it, and you're good, and you can talk, and there's no nerves, and you're focused. But then if you go a little too far, like, and you start focusing on the sound of that bird and the color of the racket and the ball, I'm like, oh man. And I lost so bad for my team.
Oh no.
I mean, I didn't feel bad because in the sense of where I was like down on myself because I was like super high on fumes. I was like, oh, this sucks, but I'm okay about it, you know. And really, like, it was a mistake. I shouldn't have taken that much.
But it did what you wanted. You got there and you were. Yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah. On the flip side, I have taken just that tiny bit and played my head off. Amazing, like, you know, like freaking aces and one, you know, and again, it's just that fine line. So yeah, I if you guys aren't into it, I definitely don't push it on anybody. But I imagine
it's
you can.
Interesting.
Yeah, you can get it
It's
up
really
in Canada, right? You guys everywhere. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. The cops are actually doing I'm talking about the cops a lot today, but this has been our news. The cops.
Where is the cops?
Oh, jerk.
Oh no. That Papa having fun.
Oh, so
Papa's in trouble.
Yeah, Papa's my husband, and Papa has a file of embarrassing stuff. So sometimes it comes out live that we'll have to discuss later.
That's funny.
But the psilocybin. The stores, because there's stores that are popping up now, just like when cannabis was about to become legal.
Okay.
The stores started showing up. So the cops are doing the crackdown on the stores right now. So Mark Emery, he's, you know, his stores are all getting targeted, and yeah, it's a thing. They just got to keep busy, apparently.
Yeah, we had one here. We had a big one here, and I think they're shut down now. I'm not 100% sure. But I know they were doing the same thing. They just kept going in, and today they would shut them down, and then they'd be open again in 2 days. And then they'd be shut down again, and then they'd be open again in 2 days, and they just keep paying the fines. And
That's crazy.
But it's like decriminalized. I don't think it's 100% legal here yet.
No.
So,
Yeah,
but
I don't
it's
think it's
coming. It's coming though,
Well,
for sure.
In Vancouver, personal amounts are actually of anything are decriminalized. You can walk around with personal amount of some pretty heavy duty stuff, and they're not going to do anything.
Wow.
Yeah,
Nice.
it's I don't know if it's working. They're trying something, and I don't know if it's working, but you know, it is what it is.
Oh well, but yeah. I know you kind of touched on Growers House a little bit, and you were talking about some of that. Do you want to talk about some of the stuff that you can get over there? Because it's like it's a store, right? Like you go in there, you can buy all kinds of different products and equipment and.
Yep. So GrowersHouse.com. Yep, they are the kind of the umbrella company that was started, I think, almost 10 years ago. I think they're almost on their 10-year anniversary, and it's basically an online retail platform. We had a couple of brick and mortar stores that have turned into will call pickups in Phoenix and in Tucson, Arizona. And we do actually lunch and learns in Phoenix. So if you're ever in Phoenix, or any of your audience are from Phoenix, check out our social media. We post these lunch and learns. So we'll have this, kind of a meetup with our technical crop advisors once a month, and it'll be kind of sponsored by one of our industry partners like Netafim, or last week was Marone Bio. I think they're an IPM. They're actually part of what we're doing tomorrow on our webinar. And you basically sit for like 2 hours, and we buy you lunch, and you just learn about the products. And obviously with the idea of, if you wanted to purchase them, go through Growers House. But it's an interesting platform. When I came on a year ago, I couldn't help but interject some of my creative feedback on a few things, and they listened. Nate and Scott and the team over there are really smart individuals, and they trusted some ideas that I brought to the table, and we kind of went through a little bit of a rebrand. Not really. We changed it from Growers House to Growers House Ag Solutions. As all these new states are coming on board online, I think they just wanted to have a little bit more of a mature presence in the commercial market. So we went from purple to this kind of black and kind of like cool blue color. Brennan, our IT web designer, they went through this whole rigmarole of rebranding, and it was a lot of freaking work, but it looks amazing right now. And a lot of like products that we sell, like the house brand products, like the cloning gel, which I think you guys are aware of, and Stash Blend. We partnered with those guys from Stash with that one. All of that's available on the site. Obviously, you can get everything you could possibly want for growing, for the most part, on our site. And anything like common culture, like I mentioned, in Ventana Plant Science, those are, you can get really good deals on our products. We've got a couple of huge warehouses of storage, which allows us to buy in bulk and sell, for competitive pricing. We're also just getting into the East Coast market. We have, I guess, what's called a 3PL, which I don't exactly know what that stands for, but it's basically a warehouse on the East Coast that we're shipping like bulk products to, that are just stored there. So when the East Coast continues to come online, they can get their products faster. They get it in 2 days. And again, it saves on money for shipping for them. But yeah, it's a great website. Definitely encourage everybody to check it out. GrowersHouse.com. And then, if there's any commercial growers, there's a commercial tab there, and the new B2B portal will help them, kind of like I said, the Amazon of growers equipment. It allows for customized kind of support for the big cultivators out there that are buying a lot of products. And but yeah, and that's what's paying the bills. And and I definitely love working for Nate. He's an interesting young man. Again, like another 30 something he's got like 10 different companies he's running. He's including hosting one of the most watched cannabis cultivation shows on YouTube. And he's just such a sweet guy, and like, you know, you could probably just reach out to him and he'll email you back when he has a minute. Like, he's just such a likable guy. So anyways, not trying to get too much job security, you know, brown nosing.
Well, we'd love to have Nate on the show. So
absolutely.
We'd love
for
him on the show. So,
yeah, you know, maybe when we're on the tour, I'll see if because we're going to be in Maryland. You said on Friday nights you guys do the Grow Me,
yes.
Right?
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah.
9 p.m. Eastern. Yeah.
Then we'll try to jump on. I'll stay in touch on the 31st. We'll be in Maryland, and you know, we'll still be on California time, so he'll be awake. I'll be awake. Maybe we can just jump in and say hi.
That'd be cool.
We could.
That'd be really cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
That'd be
that
so
would be
fun.
awesome.
Yeah, that'd be so fun.
Yeah, let's definitely do
and
that.
And then we can
That'd
get a little
awesome.
sneak peek. We can get a little sneak peek of the Maryland stuff before it's early. Oh yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, baby. Yeah.
So back to the stash blend. Growers House is the only place it can be got, I believe. Is that correct?
I think so. Yeah.
And
Amazon.
And you guys actually helped create that product, didn't you?
That was Nate. Yeah, Nate and Chris, Robin, and Pigeons, which nobody knows Pigeon's real name, which is hilarious.
Yeah.
Right.
He's totally an enigma.
I don't want to know it.
They worked with a guy named George. I can't remember George's last name. He's our partner with Ventana Plant Science, and they came up with the blend of all the different good stuff. I think it's like seaweed and mycorrhizal and a couple of other things that I don't have off the top of my head, but I believe they came up with the formula, and then Nate and the guys put the packaging together and the branding, and then just started selling it.
Nice.
And it's actually doing pretty well. For kind of there it is right there. Yeah, you can probably read off what's in there. Oh yeah, beneficial bacteria. Yep, silicon, seaweed. It's
humic acid and more.
Yeah,
go to
it's pretty good.
GrowersHouse.com. You can also get it on Amazon. It's selling like hotcakes on Amazon right now. So
and
nice.
we just became affiliates of the Stash Blend.
Yes.
So we're working on getting a code, but we have our link already set up. But we're working on getting the code for the channel. But yeah.
Good. Yeah.
I've been using this for a few months now, and I absolutely love it. Absolutely love it.
I'll talk to Natalie and see, what we can do to get that code over to you guys for sure. That was part of our whole shift when the website changed. There was a bunch of other things about the back end of the website that have been updated too. So
nice.
I'm writing it down right now to remind Natalie. I'm sure.
Oh, nice. Thank you. Thank you. It's because it is actually easier with a code than to say, click on, leave here, go click on this link and go do this.
Yeah.
You just tell somebody put a code in. It's much easier to get the word across.
Yep. When Rob mentioned the new app, the GoAF Pro app, I think that's what I think is allowing it to be much easier now, which is kind of across the board. There's so much new technology out there that makes life so much easier. So
yeah.
All kinds of
apps.
It's
nice to have that community though, that you can go talk back and forth and talk about apps. Like, we were talking about avocados earlier, right? Like, you never know where the conversation's going to go and what you're going to learn when you meet somebody new. So it's wonderful. It's
exactly,
that's what the community is about. It's wonderful.
Yeah, definitely. I really appreciate you guys having me on. This is really fun.
And we appreciate you coming on.
We're glad. Yeah.
Thank you so much. Invitation. We're gonna have to. Well, we're gonna have you back on Friday, but on when you're ready to launch the new Cannacribs, you can come on and we can discuss it. And
I'd love to.
Peek and we want to help you as much as we can. And I think that would be a lot of fun.
Yeah, and we can have more than just you on as well. So if you want to bring anybody with you or whatever, or you want to come by yourself, I mean, either way is cool. So
sounds good. I'll check in with Nate and some of the other team. And I know we've got some. If you guys want to get really into the weeds, technical crop advisors like Mike Chang, who will be on the webinar tomorrow, and Will Bat, he's in New Mexico, and then Joe Artem is out in New York. I think he lives in Jersey. Those guys are like amazing as far as like knowledge of growing. I mean, it's incredible. They're part of the Cannacribs consulting team. So that was sort of another business that Nate started, to consultative sales basically. So they'll go into grows that are, either not doing so great, and they'll just kind of like test the soil and the air, and they'll see what the airflow is doing and where the light penetration is lacking, and they'll suggest all these different tricks. And then all of a sudden, there you go. Yeah, if you click on consulting right there, you'll see the guys. They are just these scientists that, like, my background was in media, right? And there's so many different backgrounds we all have that we bring into the cannabis industry. And a lot of these guys were like PhDs and scientists. And I think Mike went and got his degree from Arizona.
Oh, yeah, right there.
Yep, there's Philip. And
look at Nate. He looks like such a gangster amongst the scientists. I love it.
True.
That's funny. Like literal weed doctors.
Yeah, and that's George as well. That's awesome. Has a PhD. George is the guy that came up with worked with the guys for Stackland. So I'll try to invite these guys on and see if they're interested in just talking plants, because I mean that's really
plants.
What you're.
We would love that.
That's our goal in life, is to talk plants all day long.
Yeah.
Even if it's avocados, we don't care.
Yep. Sounds good.
All right. Well, I think we're coming up to the hour here. So, Marco, thank you so much for joining us this evening, and I can't wait to talk to you again. I feel that we just met. So now there's so much more that we can dive into. We touched on just a few subjects of Marco.
Yeah,
yes,
thank you.
Definitely.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm super stoked to be here. Thank you. You guys are great. And best of luck with your show and everything you all have going on.
Thank you. Now you've got a little baby, so you need to get some rest and get as much sleep as you possibly can. Naps are good. We are pro naps around here.
Oh yeah, very much so. Life couldn't go on without my afternoon naps. So
yeah, naps are good. All right, Marco, we'll go ahead and let you go. Thank you so much, and I can't wait till we get to chat again, because like I said, I feel we've just touched the surface here.
Yeah. Okay. Awesome. Yeah. Well, thank you so much for having me again, guys. We'll hopefully see you soon.
All right. Absolutely. Al, happy growing.
Okay. Bye, guys.
Have a good night.
Bye. That's so much fun.
Such cool.
Oh my
names.
goodness.
Oh, Sorry, I had to mute. I had like a dog fight and people yelling in the background, so I had to mute.
Wondering where that was. That's okay. I looked out the window because I kind of face another window over here, and like a dog that's not mine showed up at my door. I was like looking in. What you got in there? And then just nothing. All right, off he went.
Got any snacks?
That's okay. That's okay. Funny. We love Bella.
Yes.
So again, just a reminder that we are live at 9 p.m. Eastern on Fridays, where you guys could come and show your gardens. And it's been a long night.
It's the Gromies. It's the Gromies night to shine. So it's the night we want to see what you guys have growing on. So get those girls all cleaned up. Get your Friday night legs, because we want to see them.
Yes.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah,
and
awesome.
For next Wednesday.
Yes, next Wednesday we have Matt, Mike and THC.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's going to be exciting as well. All our interviews are exciting, but.
And I'm going to put I'm going to be on Tea with P next Wednesday.
Yes, that is so exciting. Yay!
Yeah, so we get to hang out with Matt, Mike, and THC, and then after that show, Mama's going to jump over onto Tea with P.
We get to go, yes. And we will be there to support Mama. So if you guys want to join us as well, that would be amazing. We'll be hanging out in the chat.
No, don't give them the option. You guys all got to come from this one to that one. It's not. It's not an option, guys.
Not optional.
The advice
you hang out with
fucking nice, literal. Okay.
Yeah. Well, that's for them. That's for them.
All right. Okay. Enough shenanigans. Friday night is our night for shenanigans.
Yes.
We're supposed to be mature on Wednesdays.
Yes.
Oh, sorry.
All right. And super shout out to Growers House and Marco for joining us this evening. That was amazing. Ganix, Bunny. Oh, Friday night. We're doing it.
Yeah, we
All
are.
right. Happy growing, everybody.
Smoking in the morning, smoking in the evening, smoking when I want to, smoking at the beach. Now I'm from California, we grow it every